But today I wanted to do less talking and have real live parent experiences. We know that the pandemic has changed a lot of the way that we live our lives. And, that includes everybody, every aspect. So that also includes the childbirthing experience. We know there's been some restrictions placed and all of that. So I'm glad to have Vinay and Yancy here to share with us. Um, if you have any questions or if you think of anything that you'd like to know or want to add to the conversation, please just put it in the chat and I promise we'll have some time to go through those things. All right, so I'll let Vinay go first and kind of introduce herself a little bit, and then Yancy, you could do the same.
Okay. Well, like she said, I'm Vinay Cunningham. I am a second-time mom. A little girl, Lola. I gave birth on April 7th. I am 37 years old, probably 37. I work as a physician assistant in the emergency room. So I'm sort of working around the COVID pandemic in the meantime, as well as being, third trimester. So yeah, that's it. I look forward to sort of giving you guys my little story. But that's me.
Very good. Thank you. Welcome. And thanks for agreeing to participate.
No problem.
All right, Yancy.
All right. Yancy Merchant. I have 5 children now. So new time dad for, I guess, the past decade, because I haven't had my youngest child, Chloe, she just turned 9. So doing it all over again a decade later. It's cool. Pandemic definitely made a lot of changes during and after, because baby Dakota was born on April 1st. So just like Vinay, it was like right in the middle of everything when everything went down. So
yeah. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get into the conversation. I guess whoever wants to go first. But if you can just give a description of how your prenatal process was. So like when all of this started, where you were, in your pregnancy, or, Yancy, where your wife was in her pregnancy, and, what all transpired during that whole process.
You want me to go first, Yancy?
Of course.
Okay. So, like I said, I believe I was third trimester, because I believe this whole thing started to kind of blow up like March-ish. So I was third trimester, still working in the ER, like I said. I was, my OBGYN is a physician that she used to practice at NYU. She delivered my first, so I went to her purposely to deliver the second. When this started, I remember initially, it was sort of like, it was the same in regards to the visits. Everyone was just washing their hands. She was telling me, we were kind of discussing what colleagues got COVID and who didn't. One visit was normal, where I walked in and, we were discussing things. The next visit was the final ultrasound that they do at about 36, 37 weeks. She had told me that I could bring Xavier and I could bring my fiance. The morning of, they called me to say, oh, by the way, you cannot bring any visitors. We were already on our way. We were coming from Long Island, and I had Xavier and Randolph in the car with me already. So I told them, like, well, they're already with me. We're coming from Long Island. So she's like, okay, well, maybe we'll make an exception, but they can't come into the office. Mind you, I was just there last week, and none of this was in place. So I get into the office, and there's a big sign, no visitors. Xavier's with me because he wants to see the lady that pulled him out of me the first, so he wants to see the person that happened first.
Yeah.
And Randolph's with me because she told me to bring him as well. So they stand outside, and they both had masks because I had masks from work initially in my car. Mm-hmm. So we're waiting, and then the doctor pretty much made an exception so that they could come in. But it was kind of literally a decision that they made the day before, that they were no longer allowing visitors in this office. So that was the first visit that was sort of like different per se. She allowed them in for the ultrasound and then they left. Every visit after that, it was one patient in the office at a time. We had to be masked, the whole staff is masked. And it was sort of just, it was just kind of like a different tone. Like I feel like in obstetrics, everyone's always very like, hi, and like, you know, very friendly and welcoming. It became this very like, stay back, hands off, hey, sign right there, sit right there. And it was kind of this robotic feel. And they only allowed one patient in the office at a time. So they really spaced out their patient visits. So
I sort of mentioned that last week, how the visit schedules might be changed to accommodate, you know, all the new restrictions.
Right.
One of those things being, you know, spacing out the appointments between different patients, you know, so that nobody else is in the waiting area. So I'm glad you brought that up, so that people, you know, might know what to expect during their visits. Yancy, what about you? From your perspective, how was that prenatal process, you and your wife going through that? Oh, sorry, hold on. I had muted you to prevent the feedback. Hold on. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was trying to pull up, I actually took a journal from the beginning, and I put in my notes exactly when it happened, but I know, just like Vinay said, it was very similar. I've gone to every appointment, and usually our kids go as well. So we were on our way to the Long Island appointment in Long Island. Same thing. All the kids were with us, and as soon as we get there, they say only the mother can come in. And,
hi. Go ahead and introduce your wife for us.
Yeah. Oh, this is my wife, Dana Merchant.
Welcome. Hi, Dana.
I want to say, cause I know it started to my birthday is March 14th. I know that week, the March 14th, 15th week, that was the week that everything started to change, because we went out to eat that day. And then by the time Monday came around, it started to get real tricky as far as like kids in the basketball games. And we were like, hold up, what's going on? And usually our appointments on a Thursday. So by the time we went to that Thursday appointment, which would have been our probably 38 week appointment, that's when, like I said, all the kids were with us, and they told us that she had to go in by herself. And then we decided to do a FaceTime call from the car while she was inside. So that's basically what we did. So our last two appointments were like that. So that one appointment, the kids were in the car. I actually took them to 7-Eleven to get Slurpees while we're on FaceTime with the appointment. And then I turned back around. And then the very next week, because we were doing weekly appointments by then. So by the 39th week, that's when they told us that I could not be in the room when it was time to deliver. And that's when I went crazy.
Yeah.
And
the office actually got the phone call while we were in the office. So we had an opportunity to see like the panic on everybody.
Wow.
Well, you know, he was on the phone. I was in the office, and I was like, something's going on. They're saying that you can't be in the hospital. So that kind of like started to spiral. That was the day we were like,
oh
okay,
my gosh,
we might have to go to Connecticut.
yeah.